Pizza Tower. That's a good game. Let's ramble in a mic about it for almost an hour and call it a ranking video. We got 20 levels to talk about, but I'm not counting the boss levels since those are different from the normal levels, that I would have to make another video for those specifically. Which I mean, I would, if you want it. Let's get the usual out of the way. These are my opinions, and there will be spoilers for the game since, you know, it's the entire game I'm talking about. Another thing is that I P-ranked, like, all of the levels. And I think that would change your opinion on the levels because you're just kind of grinding them out for God knows how long. And that kind of causes you to think a bit more critically about them when that happens. I do think that, like, casually they're all good levels, but don't expect me to be nice about levels for a while. And with that, let's start on the bottom of the list with Pizza Scare. Nah, I'm just kidding. Just doing that to fuck with a friend. Yeah, all that warning about opinions was specifically targeted towards this level. Look, playing the level casually, I still like it. Gustavo can be fun to control, and the main gimmick of delivering pizzas is a neat idea that I'm surprised wasn't in more levels. Well, it used to be in the game as a larger mechanic at one point, but it was removed. It's just that, when it comes to P-ranking, it's incredibly frustrating on multiple fronts that makes it not really fun to do. Like, I was frustrated enough that around 2 hours into attempting the P-rank, I got so frustrated that I made a post on Discord that's over like 3,000 character stream of consciousness rant complaining about the level. I would read it, but honestly, not only is it pretty incoherent, it's filled with so much swearing that YouTube would probably orbital strike me if I did. So, let's start with the first problem, Gustavo. His character in general is very floaty, mainly from the spin attack, where he just bounces all over the place. And this is weird because it's half a muscle memory problem because of Peppino, where the grab is a very important movement tool, allowing you to go to Mach 2 and Mach 3 fairly quickly compared to running, when it's also being a very reliable attack. Unlike with the Gustavo spin attack, where he can cover some distance, but it's definitely not a good way to gain speed, especially when you leave Brick behind with it. It's just a better idea to do the normal run anyway. Then there's the wall jump, which can get very finicky in times, so sometimes I just end up jumping on a wall and then not jumping on the next wall and doing a slam instead. And other times I just end up attempting to jump the same wall multiple times when I don't really want to. It's weird. Another problem is the enemy. Actually, no, I'm more talking about one specific enemy. These fucking pickles. The most devilish enemy in these games, where if you don't scare them by going fast enough, they teleport away and just teleport back to your location and do this like a little electrical attack, and it's just genuinely annoying to deal with, even if you know how. Which, here's a tip. Make sure you launch Brick, as you can deal with them during their attack, or before they disappear. There's also archers to talk about, where their arrows go through walls, but well, there's an achievement reflecting their arrows back at them, so you can just do that. There's also the Pizzards, which, yeah, they don't really do much. It's pretty much the pickles that are the actual problem. Then there's the actual level design itself, which it's very cramped at times and doesn't really feel like it's designed for Gustavo. This level also just feels really long to get through, which makes losing your combo very tedious to restart from. But it also feels like part of the level really nothing happens. Some parts extend for a while, which just kind of feel meh. And then there's the room. This one room is my main reason for putting this level at the bottom, as it feels like a weird vestigial area from when the level design wasn't as tight as it was. It starts out normal with enemies and pickups, but then for a solid 10 seconds, the entirety of your combo length. There's no pickups, no enemies, nothing. This one room has made me lose so many runs that it's genuinely my least favorite room in the game. Although, I did manage to figure out how to best it, mainly by not bumping my face against a wall and also jumping to get the topping, but also how there's like 3 enemies near the top of the screen, so that means they can be super taunted, which means I can do that to recover my combo in time. And the worst part is, this room is basically next to the end, so that means you have to do the entire level again just to get back here, which adds on to the level feeling tedious to get through. There's also one of the secrets I want to mention, the last one. While Secrets 1 and 2 are nothing to write home about, Secret 3 is different, as it's at the beginning of the level, but you can only do it during pizza time due to the jump blocks in the way. And the secret involves these mushrooms that you're supposed to jump on, some and not others. Now if you fall off, you're falling for a good while, which can absolutely kill your combo. Which has happened a couple times, and I hate it so much. It just adds to the tedium of the level, because God, I got to Secret 3, it's literally right next to the door. Don't do this to me! Oh, and it gets worse, because you have to do this on your second lap, because the lap 2 portal is way behind where you are. So that means you have to do the entire escape sequence twice to get there. And if you fuck up, you literally have to do the entire level again. Overall, this is my least favorite level, not only because of the problems previously mentioned, but also because this is the only time I've ever really went on a massive unhinged rant about any of the levels. I do want to at least leave off on a positive note, so I will mention that the music for this level is just so fucking good. Easily some of my favorite music in the game, which is funny considering how much I just do not like this level at all. This was another level I ended up disliking when I started P-ranking it. There's a couple things going on with the level that just brings the whole thing down, but I'm at the very least want to start with the positives. First of all, like every level in the game, music is great. Like, it's just kind of funny how a lot of the music I like from this game comes from levels I don't like as levels. Another thing I really like about the escape sequence, or beyond like the first room, which that one requires you to not kill a cheese slime next to the block switcher in order to actually be able to keep your combo up in time to get to the next room. That part isn't good. Beyond that, it's really well done. It feels like an escape sequence that effectively uses the space available to make a good escape. Beyond that, I still just do not like this level, mainly for a couple reasons. First of all, is the space used in the level, ironically enough. It just feels like some of the rooms are very confusing to navigate at times. Especially in this one room where a top-end is located, where it's like way too big. Not only making it weird to get to on first try because there's flowing water in front of the wall you need to climb, but also touching the fast water launches you towards an enemy. Like, I know it's to give you another chance to get the top and to keep your score, but it feels like that room is just way too big for its own good. That's another thing I don't like about this level. The enemies. A lot of them just have invincible attacks, like the spitting cheese slimes and their projectiles, or the ninja slices and the uppercut they start with. While you can learn to deal with them, they're easy to manage. They're nonetheless very annoying to deal with, and I very much lost a couple combos from them. Finally, we come to the gimmicks of the level, and like, they're fine for the most part. The trash can is neat, but nothing really to note. Fast water is annoying at times, especially in that one previously mentioned room, but works for the most part, especially in the escape sequence. The giant cheese slime becoming a cheese ball is not really much, but becoming Sticky Peppino is not only very annoying with how slow he is, but also, again, with the wall jump just kind of sucking, which is like the second time I've encountered a kind of sucky wall jump in this game. Then there's the grabber guy, which, yeah, obstacle-wise is just very annoying to control. Overall, this level is just weirdly frustrating, and while I did get used to it after a while, I'm glad I'm just done with it. That's all. It's going to be a couple more levels until we hit levels that I at least don't not like. Unfortunately, this is a level I still do not like, which kind of sucks, because, again, I love the music in this level, especially the guitar. The thing is, there really isn't much to the level. The level design is alright. The idea of making John blocks pop out of the ground and there being a John ghost during pizza time wasn't the idea. The level was pretty short in the long run. The escape sequence just kind of feels a bit too long, and then there's one section that just feels boring to get through. Honestly, those really aren't the main reason why this is so low on the list. It's the gimmick. The gimmick with this level is that Peppino can turn into a ghost, and my god, this is annoying as hell to control. Like, for context, I played this game using a controller, and even then it just felt so clunky to control. It feels like I should be using an analog stick to control it, but when I do that, it ends up feeling worse. The controls just feel way too loose once you start speeding up, and it ends up just feeling way too clunky trying to maneuver around obstacles and trying to hit enemies. It's also why that one bit in Wasteard's escape sequence felt bad, because it was an extended bit being a ghost, and not only was it pretty boring, it was also a lot more annoying because of how the ghost controls, which I previously mentioned was very, very loose, and it was just kind of easy to overshoot things. Overall, it's a below average level for me that ends up being worse due to the main gimmick of the level just feeling not good to control. Honestly, it's kind of funny looking back at my notes, because this was the first level where my thoughts on the level was decently sized, and I called it, so far, my least favorite level. And looking back on that now is just kind of funny. Like, it's bottom third. It's absolutely not my least favorite level now, but it's still one of them. There's a lot I don't like about this level, from the horse to some of the enemies to the level design to the gimmick. Unfortunately, it's one of those levels that's just kind of boring to talk about, since I really don't have much to say other than I don't like it. Actually, I do have something to complain about first, and it's that fucking horse. So, in order to get a top-end, you have to race this horse, which isn't the problem. What the problem is that if you fail, you lose out on getting the top-end for the rest of the level. So basically, you have to restart the level in order to get another attempt at getting that top-end. And I'm sorry, that just sucks. That's way too punishing for someone that's doing the level for the first time, which is odd considering how forgiving the game usually is. Thankfully, when you're P ranking, It's quite literally nothing. But I remember my first time playing the level and losing that horse, and it just kind of permanently cemented my dislike towards that fucker. Beyond that, from the more broad level design stuff, it's just kind of fine to annoying. Like, the other gimmicks in the level, like the wind and the sausage, are just kind of fine enough. I personally think that the wind gimmick is better used in later levels anyway, as the sausage can feel a bit slippery, but overall, it's fine. Enemies in the level are mostly fine, the cowboy can be annoying, and the bad rats from hit shovelware Steam game Bad Rats are kind of neat, if a bit freaky. Other than that, there's not really much to talk about. Honestly, my problem with this level is that it kind of relies too much on making sure your timing is perfect, and it gets a bit tedious after a while. Other than that, there's not really anything to note. Not even the music, surprisingly enough. Like, it's still good, but in comparison to the rest of the OST, it's just kind of meh. Like the rest of the level. I'm kind of conflated on this one. On one hand, I do like a lot about the level, but on the other, there's just stuff that frustrates me. Starting with the good, I really love the atmosphere. It's a level that's obviously inspired by Funko and MatPat's revenue generator, Five Nights at Freddy's. Every section you explore feels unnerving. The constant patrol bots always reminding you to never get caught, and giving off a slightly unnerving but still comical tone for the whole level. And when you do get caught, it's a rush to get out of that room as fast as possible. The music very much enforcing this. The music in general of this level is good too. I really like the main theme and the theme we're being chased, with the main theme helping to enforce the atmosphere. I also really like the designs of the, Topantronics? No, wait. Oh, they're called Toppin Monsters. Nah, I'm keeping Topantronics. Anyway, each are obviously based on the main toppings throughout the game and the toppings you save. I like the sausage one the most, with it being a butcher. I also like that each of them have their own little mechanics, and that they're best used in their own little sections, whether it be main or secret. The Topantronics are also where my gripes with the level start. You see, getting jump scared completely removes your combo. Not like it makes it go down by half, no, it's just completely gone. So you basically have to get this jump spared achievement in order to P-rank the level, which is just a bit annoying with how the level design can be. Like, it's a level inspired by horror, so the level design is going to be very cramped, but honestly, it just doesn't really feel right a lot of the time in this level. Especially during the mandatory chase sequences, it just kind of feels annoying to go through those. Especially with the previously mentioned losing combo thing. So, I do like the level aesthetics, but the level itself just falls a bit short for me. But it's not a level I really dislike, only slightly. Ancient Cheese is the first level I don't really dislike, but I still don't like it either. I'm more neutral towards it. It's one of those levels where I don't really have much to talk about. The level design is a bit big at times, the introduction of the bomb gimmicks is fine, the gimmick itself is fine. I never really had problems with aiming it, maybe when the goblins throw them, but that's due to the short fuse time. I do like the music. I find the random baby noise that appears in one part of the first section song goofy. Interesting fact about this song is that it was the first ever stage song in the game. That one goes to an old cover of Funikuri Furikura before it was updated to the current tutorial music. I do kind of miss that version, to be honest, as it was pretty goofy and, you know, very obviously Wario Land inspired. But honestly, I like the new tutorial music more. Honestly, I really don't have much to say about the level, as, like I've said before, I'm pretty neutral towards it. I don't like it, but I don't really dislike it either. I guess I could talk about the P-rank experience, since I really haven't done that much beyond complaining about level-specific mechanics. Overall, it's not really hard to P-rank. Still not easy, because, you know, it's a P-rank. But it's one of the easier levels to actually P-rank. Like, pretty much 2 of the 3 secrets are out in the open, with the last one being right after pizza time starts. So there's nothing really to worry about with this level. Like I said, I really don't have much to say on it. It's just kind of one of the most nothing levels to talk about for me. Oregano Desert really is a level, right? Honestly, I find it a pretty decent level, but there's just a couple things that annoy me a bit. Let's get that out of the way, since it's only a couple things. Firstly are the clouds. Overall, fine enough mechanic, with the problem being that the placements of them can be really dickish at times, but once you know where they are, they're not really a problem. Another problem is that's specific to the gimmick of the level, which is Peppino eating chicken wing and literally spewing out fire. And it's mainly that it's not invincible. Like, you can get hit out of the form, and it has led to me losing my combo a couple times, which loops back around to the cloud thing because of this one specific cloud I don't like. Real dickish placement right there that has gotten me a couple times. The cows are just kind of there, mostly in the UFO section, which, yeah, there's the UFO section, just kind of there and gone. which is more funny than anything. John's in there, and that's the end of the level. That's kind of really it. Honestly, after beating the level, I did have fun playing it, like how getting to Toppins was a mini platform challenge room, which I'm surprised more of the levels haven't done. I also found that the space in the level was used rather well, was decently packed with things while not feeling too big. And as for the music, well, I was fine with the main theme. The secret theme is like top tier out of all the secret musics. Just mwah, good shit. Overall, however, I just like other levels more. Hey, speaking of the UFO from Oregano Desert, here we have the space level. And for the most part, I like the level. There was a couple things in the level design that I would talk about later, but for the most part, I really enjoyed the level design of the level. Playing around with some of the gimmicks were fun. Really liked controlling the rocket. The olive bubble was neat and didn't overstay its welcome. The secrets were pretty easy to find and mostly easy to get in and get out. I really love the aesthetic. You really can't go wrong with a space aesthetic, and Pizza Tower is no exception. The spaceship has this really great shade of purple, the slimy mark section was good, the cheese moon was some good shit, and of course, the music is great. Like, the bass is just really fucking good. My problems with this level really come from one aspect, and it's just some rooms. First is Secret 1, which is kind of put it in mostly easy to get in and to get out. Because the olive can be an issue occasionally, but that's just more of me getting used to the olive bubble more than anything. Then there's the rooms I just don't like this one rocket puzzle in the cheese world and this one out-of-nowhere quick switch puzzle during the escape sequence. With the rocket puzzle, it can be confusing to navigate, causing me to lose my combo a couple times. But, of course, I did figure this room out, so thankfully it wasn't really that bad. Honestly, it's more of a switch puzzle that I dislike, mainly because of just how it comes out of nowhere during the escape sequence. It also has ruined a few runs because of how you navigate it, which is kind of in this constant back and forth, and it just kind of breaks the flow a bit. Like, I think I would be more fine with it if the level was more designed around them, but again, it's the only time it's used in the level, so like, why? At least when it shows up in Oh Shit, it's used for more of part of the puzzle with the flash flowing water, the gimmick of the level. But yeah, I do enjoy this level. It's just more than one room that kind of confuses me and kind of lowers my opinion about it, but not really by much. The final level in the game, and it's more of a victory lap than anything else. Like, you just beat the boss. The fucker is in the ground, but you still gotta escape the tower that is crumbling. Honestly, I'd like to talk about something that's not the level itself, and it's John. And I'm gonna stress spoiler warning again for this, since it's literally the last level in the game. So, for the previous levels, with the exception of War in the game, we have to punch Pillar John in order for the level to collapse. But unlike every other Pillar John, where he's just kind of some dude, this John is different. Firstly, he's dead, straight up no animation. Pizza toppings seemingly growing out of him, cracks all over, vines growing, and a funny hat. There isn't even a shocked face when you defeat him, it's just the same sprite. Hell, once you exit the room, and I was only just noticing this, but the John statue that's in a very similar state to this Pillar John in floor 5 that looms over you is smiling and giving you a thumbs up as the tower crumbles, basically thanking you for taking him out. It's that attention to detail that I really like in this game, and honestly, it's also why I like this level. Throughout the floors, you see clocks and John blocks in the main hub area, basically giving it away that you'll be escaping through these floors. And the final level weaves these things really well, with mechanics crossing over in places that could only make sense if everything was crumbling down. Most mechanics get one last send-off, from the shotgun blasting ghosts, to riding a sausage, running over soldier slices, and outrunning that pirate guy that shoots cannonballs at you while dodging landmines. Hell, even golf gets a send-off where there's a small part where you're doing a little hole in the middle of escaping. The level itself is practically a breeze, as you're just basically rushing out of the door as fast as possible, not giving a care in the world, just getting the fuck out. Even the music feels like a victory lap, triumphantly blasting out while you're going, basically saying, yeah, you did it, now it's time to pack up and get out. I'm starting to sound like a broken record here, but yeah, as for the level itself, it's fine. Like I said, it's a victory lap level. In fact, it's probably the easiest level to P-rank since there's no secrets or anything. Just keep the combo up and kill and collect everything. Easy as that. Hell, that's a fun and enjoyable level that brings everything from previous levels into one that very much feels like one last drop before credits. There's nothing really to say other than I love the attention to detail and it's fun to play. This level was a lot of fun. The main gimmick is, well, golf. You got this pizza guy and you smack him around, and thankfully, when you're P-ranking, when you do the whole golf stance, the combo just permanently set to full until you hit him, which is really nice. There's multiple courses with each end with you getting a top end, and hey, even the escape sequence is a couple sections where you golf. Which, if you were worried about doing them again during the second lap, you don't. Actually, just the thing about doing this level is that you can just kind of run into a ball and launch it, which definitely speeds up the gameplay of the level and has its own fun charm to it, trying to launch this fucker across the entire level. Either way, it's just fun to do. Drum was interesting, mainly because you can fuck it up because you have to basically not fuck up platforming as Ball Peppino, while making sure you get thrown by the right baseball slimes, which are another gimmick for this level where they throw you into Ball Peppino. Honestly, it works, and you only really had to do it once anyway. Another thing I like about this level was the music and presentation. The level aesthetic is just like a sports bar, which is just kind of fun, and the music is just one of those that just gets stuck in your head. Also, this music samples a fucking microwave, and that's just kind of funny to me. Like, why would you do that? Why does it work so well? If I had an actual complaint about the level, it's that the first secret is a pain in the ass to get to. Since you have to jump over a present, and if you go into the present and you're trying to P-rank the level, well, bye to your combo. Die. Of course, I did figure out how to consistently get past the present, which is just running and jumping. But still, it's an incredibly weird spot when the others are just pretty easy to find. But yeah, I like the level a lot. It's just fun to have a nice gimmick level every once in a while. Funny story about this level. See, while making this video and recording my thoughts about each level, I often joked about this level being the filter level, and that if it's above John Gutter, I either really like the level or I love the level, but if it's below John Gutter, then I either still like the level or I don't. While starting the final list, I saw that John Gutter was smack dab in the middle of the list at number 10, and like, I didn't intend for that to happen. It just kind of happened to be in the middle of the list, which is just kind of funny to me. It's truly the filter level for the rest of this list. Anyway, as for the level itself, it's a pretty good introduction level for the rest of the game. There's not really any gimmicks, the level design teaches you things about the game, it's easy to P-rank as secrets aren't hard to find, and it's overall an easy level. Like I said, it's the introduction level. It's pretty simple in the long run, and it works. One thing I do find interesting is the music, as while I do like the main theme, it's a pretty good listen. I like the detail that with the secret version of the level, there is no motif from the main level, because it itself is the basis for every secret level in the game. With this level, it's pretty average, but honestly, that's its strength as a level, because it's doing what it's supposed to by getting you used to the game itself, before setting you off for the rest of the game proper. The second level featuring Gustavo, and honestly, it did it a lot better. It feels like the level was actually designed around how floaty he is, so his segment is big and explorable, with challenges designed around him and Brick. It does help that you're more used to playing Gustavo at this point, especially if you're fucking P-ranking Gnome Forest. Each of the two taxi segments are really fun, and having an enemy that takes away Brick and for you to have to beat him up in order to get him back was also creative. As for the Peppino section, it's also fun, with all the grind rails and dealing with the pig cops, catching it with the handcuffs, only for you to break them by going really fast. It's just good. Just really good. As for the main level, it's split into two segments, the main area and the 5 taxi sections, with Peppino getting the first 3 and Gustavo getting the last 2. They act like single-room platforming challenges, kind of like the Marts in Oregano Desert, but expanded upon, which is really neat. And the presentation of the level is great. All the pigs just kind of walking in the background, both halves of the level being different parts of the city, and that's just a really nice detail. My favorite part of the level is the music, cause like, god damn, both tracks are fucking bangers. And using pig noises just, yeah, no, it works really well. Kind of like the microwave in Golf. Just a kind of really out of nowhere sample, just used really well. Overall, I just really like this level, and it's a fun time just to play around in, especially since it very much felt like it was properly built for Gustavo this time. No, I will not let Gnome Forest off the hook. What the hell was that one room? Seriously. Ah, the level with Mort the Chicken from famous 3D platform on the PlayStation 1995, Mort the Chicken. It's interesting to see how this level is just much calmer compared to the rest of the levels. The music is calm in the first part, although one of my favorite songs in the game is the Part B song. It takes place in a barn, like 2 of the new enemies are just kind of chilled out for the most part, unless you're running up a Mach 3 prepared to rip them a new one. Overall, it's just a level I like a lot from the start point. As for the gameplay of the level, I like it a lot. The level feels fun to navigate, with avoiding the potato guys and eggplant guys, getting hit / avoiding the tomato guys, and playing with Mort the chicken. Now, Mort's interesting, because it seems like his movement is just a bit meh to most people, but honestly I like it. Level jump just feels really good. Honestly, my only big complaint with the movement is that the hooks are just kind of annoying to deal with, but most areas are well designed to not be a problem with that. One of them, however, is not, and that's Secret 2. Its entire thing is dealing with the hooks, and my god, it's annoying to deal with. Only when I was doing P ranks did I actually nail down the timing for that thing, but previously, I would fail to turn and it would just suck to deal with. Again, thankfully, I'm able to deal with it now, but it's just overall very annoying to deal with. Overall, it's just a really nice level. Plays well enough, it's nice looking, it's just fun. That's it. You know, it's kind of funny. A friend of mine who already P-ranked the entire game said I would not like this level due to me disliking Gnome Forest. But honestly, I really like this one. But it did take me a while to warm up to it. It was mainly the first section, because whenever I lost my combo, I would basically have to do that part over and over again. And it took me a while to even get inside the factory in the first place. But it did help me with memorizing the stages. I got like really fucking good at the first section of Pepibot. That was basically became an auto-scroller for me. Even if I missed Secret 1 a couple times because of fucking presents again. Once I actually got into the factory, that was also more of a piece of cake for the most part. Mostly just remembering to get Jerome and the uppercut to get the Secret 2. Honestly, the section is a lot of fun. Messing around with conveyor belts and the pizza box form is just a fun time playing Flappy Bird. Honestly, the real trouble was with pizza time with that one fucking room with the conveyor belts and boost pads. That got really annoying. There was also getting the Secret 3, but it was really easy once I saw the conveyor belt was next to the priest. Playing Weird Flappy Bird is fun, the hand puzzles are pretty creative, and it's one of those levels that I just kind of went in the float state with, you know? Like, everything just kind of clicked. That also helps that the music is just another straight-up banger in both sections. Although, definitely not the only one to notice that the sample in the second section sounds a lot like Door Stuck. One of the composers for the game, Saucepan, actually did make an edit where it is Door Stuck, and yeah, it's pretty goofy. But yeah, overall, fun level. You know what? I'm just gonna get this out of the way first. God, the music in this level is just great. It's so upbeat and groovy, and it's just good shit. Like, genuinely, top 5 songs for me in this game. As for the level itself, it's just also very much a fun time. Zooming around across water is fun, exploring the main level segment with the barrel as a gimmick is fun. I like the captain segments, dodging cannonballs, running fast as hell to not get hit. It's good. I really like the pink beach aesthetic and the ship aesthetic. Everything about this level is just a fun romp. If I can give out some gripes about the level, it would have to be some of the collectibles, mainly getting Secret 3, where you need to parry an automatic cannon to hit a rat, and the Secret is also doing that. I basically failed a few times trying to get into that secret until I nailed it down, but it was still annoying. Another thing is more of a me thing, but man, I just slammed my face into the walls a lot in this level. Especially in this one part in the escape sequence that felt way too hard to get through. But again, I got past that eventually. Honestly, I just like the level a lot. It's fast-paced, the mechanics are fun, the song's a banger. And my only problem with it is just basically me things. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, for a long time this level was at the top of the list. It did take a while for me to drag it down though. But I think after beating every level, having it be at the beginning of the top 5 is good enough for me. This level is just a lot of fun. Since this is the second level in the game, it does step up the difficulty to P-rank by a bit, but it's still not going to be too hard. Probably helps I P-ranked the World 1 already, so re-P-ranking them was a lot easier, especially the second time around when I had to record more footage, because oops, I made the bitrate too shit. The Night form was very fun to play with, especially doing the chef task where you can't hit any walls. Figuring that out was fun, and the secrets are fun to figure out as well, and they were fine to get through. It's just a very solid level through and through, as you just go through everything in your path. It's just one of those levels that's just fun to speed through because of the pacing of it just feels very fast. There was this one room that gave me trouble, the one where you have to use the knight to hit the rat across the pit. But honestly, it's fine because I think it's a room that teaches you not to automatically kill everything in case you need to save it up for later to reset your combo, which is the method to make that room not be a combo killer. Another big thing I love about the level is the music. Honestly, it's basically the Pizza Tower theme for me. Like, yeah, Pizza Time plays at the end of every level, and it's used the motif in multiple songs, but Spaghetti is the only level theme to appear more than once, both in this level and Pizza Scare. Not only that, it just, I don't know, it just feels like the theme for Peppino for me. Especially the B theme, where it feels a lot more Wario inspired. Plus, it was the first secret theme in the game, before the idea of making every level have a secret theme was a thing. Which, yeah, is just a really cool detail, actually. But yeah, this entire level is just a personal favorite of mine. Which, yeah, it's gonna be the same for the next 4 levels. But honestly, like, God, I really like this level for a long time. Like, in my head, it's number 5. But in my heart, it's number 2. Yeah, sorry, my heart likes another level more. You'll see. You'll see. Now, what I've seen from general opinions about this game is that this is the level that people like the most. And honestly, yeah, I see it. The entire level is just designed to be a constant panic. From the music, to the war aesthetic, from the shotgun being the main mechanic in the level, but also the mechanic the level is known for. The timer. It always goes down, no matter what you're doing. Even if you're in a secret, that fucking timer still goes down. Of course, you can refill the timer, and even when you go in secrets, there's always a timer refill nearby. But God, the first playthroughs really instill that sense of panic in you, especially since you know you're going to fail the first couple times. Hell, there's a costume for you if you actually beat it for the first time, which I haven't gotten yet because that requires starting like a whole new save file, and I just don't want to do that, to be honest. Honestly, the second half is definitely a pretty interesting part of the level. A secret lab with a horde of Peppino clones. The aesthetic of the part is also just really good. Like, goddamn, that combo counter. It raises a lot of questions for me. Another thing I really like about this level is Lap 2, where your shotgun is taken away, you give it a bunch of time extensions, and you just have to make it to the end of the level again as normal Peppino. And it's honestly a blast. Going through the level again, just sprinting past everything you've already done while the timer ticks down. It's like normal Lap 2, but nothing respawns other than collectibles. So it's also a bit harder during the second lap, as you have to make sure you're actually collecting things to make sure your combo doesn't go away. If I did have to complain about one thing with the level, it's the shotgun. It's a fine enough power-up, wide coverage, fires fast, but the main problem with it is that it removes your grab. You might be thinking, wait, what's wrong with that? Well, I complained about this exact thing like 16 entries ago. That's right, Gnome Forest, where I complained about the lack of grab because it's an important movement mechanic for P ranks. Now, does this affect the level majorly? Not really. It's very much designed around the fact that you don't have the grab. But honestly, you can really tell the difference when you're going to the second lap. You're just so much faster. Although, you can argue that it actually works in the level's favor, as it brings up tension for people who rely on it to gain speed, as you have to go through the level slower than usual, which uses up more time. Which, I can see that, but I still miss it. Overall, it's still a fantastic level, and I can very much see why it's a lot of people's favorite level. But I got like 3 more levels I like more, so how about we move over to the bronze medal of the list. For the third place spot in my favorite levels is Refrigerator, which I'm just going to say RRF from now on because Jesus Christ, the name is way too long. If I ever say it again, I just realized I never really used the level's name again in the script, so oops. This level is just a blast to play through. The level actually feels like it's using the size of the rooms to their advantage, even going back and forth through different rooms, doing something different in each room. It just feels really nice. Like, the flow of each room just feels really good throughout, that when I failed, I didn't really feel frustrated because I usually got back to where I was pretty quickly with how I was running through each room. Although, there was this one enemy placement with snowmen that really pisses me off. God, actually, can I talk about the snowmen for a minute? Easily the worst, most frustrating enemy in the game. Because they don't get scared by you running at Mach 3, so they can still damage you, and God, it's annoying as fuck. Like, there's a room before you get Satan's Choice where there's just a bunch of snowmen in lines, and it's just so easy to get damaged in that room, it's very frustrating. However, if it were just simply that, this level would be a lot lower. Thankfully, there's something a lot more fun that rebounds that distaste. Satan's Choice. God, Pepper Peppino is so fucking fun to play with. With the power of becoming Anton from Anton Blast, Peppino is completely invulnerable, while also gaining a liking towards Death Battle, which allows you to perform the Screw Attack. Which does help you throughout the level, as it allows you to destroy ice blocks. This form is just so fun to play with. Since you're invincible, you don't have to give a shit about any of the enemies, as you just simply passively kill them constantly to keep the combo up without worry. It's just really fucking good. As well as the music for like 2 rooms before you get into pizza time being really catchy. Best part is, you keep it for pizza time, and you can break the ice blocks during your escape, which, when you go through lap 2 and lose your power, allows you to take shortcuts through the level, making your second lap much faster. I haven't even talked about Santa yet, which he basically acts like a Lakitu and drops snowmen on top of you, which would be annoying, but during the escape, he can be a combo lifesaver when there's nothing around. Yeah, this level is just really fun all around, and man, this is kind of a funny story with this one when I was recording footage. So I beat it for the first time, and I'm like, hell yeah, but I forgot to record it. I was doing a thing where I would take more breaks and pause the OBS recording, but I forgot to resume it for the P rank I got on this level. So I spent another hour trying to get the P rank again, when previously it took me like half an hour, which is just really funny. But hey, it was a fun level anyway, so honestly, I was fine with doing that. Seriously, I probably would have dropped this if this happened on like Gnome Forest or something, I'm not joking. This is the first level in the game that truly offers you a challenge when it comes to P-ranking a level. There are no real player gimmicks, no extra forms, only you, your skills, and the level. There is gimmicks with the level, but it's entirely level obstacles. It really feels like this is a level that tests you on how you know the movement in Pizza Tower. Like, from my estimate, if it took you an hour or so to beat every other World 1 level each, then Blood Sauce would take around 2 to 3 times that amount. The entire level is basically just like going downward constantly, with Hot Sauce and Pizza Cutters getting in the way. But thankfully Hot Sauce doesn't hurt Peppino, it just launches them up. It's just one of the most tightly designed levels, and while initially I thought it was fine, the more I played it, the more I loved it. Everything just flows really well, allowing you to keep going and going without anything stopping you. It really feels like a very distilled version of a Pizza Tower level, or designed to the aesthetic. And god, the aesthetic. I haven't really talked about the color use in Pizza Tower until now, but god, it is a very colorful game. And Blood Sauce's usage of various reds feels very beautiful. And god, that couple sections where everything is dark and you can only see your silhouette, unless you're like near Hot Sauce where instead it's just really faint, it's just really fucking good. And when you finally get to the bottom and it switches to cool blues, because it could be like a joke on hell freezing over, at least on my head, just adds to it. I love the color usage in the entire game, but Blood Sauce in particular, with how simple yet effective it is just good shit. Shout out to Deep Dish 9, Crust Cove, and War for also having a really good color usage. Then we get to the secrets, and yeah, it's mostly just pretty typical secrets. But the last one? Ugh, it's hell. It's entirely Pizza Cutters, and while you can simply run through them, I've had runs that were just killed by this secret because, yeah, I couldn't reach one area in time, and oops, there goes my combo. But yeah, in reality, it's not really that bad. And I actually kind of want to see someone P-rank this level damageless just to see how they would tackle Secret 3. Finally, you gotta quickly talk about the music, which I really like a lot. Part of it is probably Stockholm Syndrome, but most of it is because the song is just really fucking good. It also just kind of feels like if you were going fast enough, some parts just fit with where you're going in the level. But yeah, god, I just love this level. This is a fun time throughout that provides a tough challenge for anyone who starts P-ranking. But once you master the movement and go back, god, it just feels like you're blasting through it with ease. It just gives a satisfying showcase of your regression for doing this stuff. At first, you suck at P-ranking. And now, you're unstoppable. But also, let's move on to the final entry. The toughest challenge this game has, shall we? And here we are. What I think is the best level in the game. The funny, spooky pizza level. Like Blood Sauce before, it's a test of your skill playing as Peppino Spaghetti, the main character of hit game Pizza Tower. But unlike Blood Sauce where it's a test of your skills in the beginning, in Pizza Scare, it's a test for your skills in the end. There's still gimmicks in this level, but like Blood Sauce, it's more of a level obstacle rather than a character transformation, and that gimmick is the Ghost King. The Ghost King is one of my favorite gimmicks in the game. I don't know if it's really my favorite gimmick in the entire game, but it's definitely an S-tier gimmick for me, just because of how well it's implemented in the level it's used. After the first couple rooms, you permanently get stuck with this guy, and throughout all the level, he is both an obstacle and a help to you. Slamming down anchors, either to try and hurt you or slam into metal blocks. Bumping into you with springs to turn you into Pepino Ball, either to annoy you, or to help access a secret, or to knock down bowling rats. Getting stuck in television, so you have to bump into them because, oops, that's kinda not allowing you to progress through the level. Except for that one time where you actually need to trap him, then, oops, actually you do need him now, go back down! My favorite parts are when you're going so fast you outrun his ability to possess things. Like flying past plug sockets at the speed of sound, practically unstoppable as even other ghosts are frightened by how fucking fast you are. It's moments like that that just make this level feel so fucking good to play. That sense of finally beating this game into the ground as he showed who's boss. But it also doesn't go down without a fight. This is the hardest level in the game. Some people argue that War is harder because it's an actual sense of being able to fuck up and lose, but Pizza Scare is the hardest in terms of how you need to execute your movement and planning. There are just points in this level where you would fuck up your combo if you killed everything in your path. You need to keep someone alive once in order to access a secret and not lose your combo. Not really many levels do that. I do have the one thing about this level that kind of irks me, and it's during the escape sequence, and it's this ramp. You touch it, and there goes your run. You can't recover if you touch it either time you go past it. Either for getting the treasure, since you need to jump over it to get to a broken kicker that the king can possess, and when you leave it after getting the treasure. But other than that, the escape is great. Just blasting your way through as usual. But also with the other gimmick of the level, exercising ghosts. Throughout the level there's ghosts everywhere, then you can't kill them normally. I mean, how can you? They're already dead. But you can get blessed by an exorcist to be able to kill them for a limited time. And by God, you should take advantage of that because some placements of them can kick your ass later on if you don't. Thankfully, they get scared by you. So you can also blaze past them, find an exorcist, then go back and fucking kill them. I think I've talked about the level design enough for a bit, so let's talk about the other aspects of the level, like the presentation of music. Starting with the presentation because, my God, I love the way the level looks. The dark blue used for the bricks, the backgrounds with a spooky shit in it, the decorations in the backgrounds of faces of previous characters and alternate versions of Noise and Pepino, Dois and Pedito, respectively, who are fan recolors, which, honestly, that's kind of cute. Everything about the presentation of this level just gives off a very strong horror vibe throughout, including the enemies, including a bat version of the Pepperoni Goblin, the Ghost Knights, the Gabagools, and Pizzards. I just love the visual presentation of the level, but what I love more is the music. My God, the music is just amazing in this level. Being another rendition of Spaghetti, the theme not only ties into the horror vibes of the level, but if you're P-ranking the level, it just feels like the level is telling you to prepare for your ultimate test. God, there's just so much I love. From the main instrument that's used, the guitar solo, the part where it gets less intense. It's hard for me to really go into detail on why I love this theme because I'm not a person that does music. But in short, it's my favorite level theme in the game. God, speaking of P-rank, like I've said, this is the hardest level in the game. So P-ranking it is no small task either. Needing to plan out movement is key to this level. Like the previously mentioned needing to keep someone alive to keep your combo up after Secret 1. But hell, even before then, you need to keep some enemies alive so you can hit them as Ball Pepino to keep your combo up. The rest of the secrets and collecting the treasure are all during pizza time, so you're spending a lot of time in there trying to collect stuff. But finally, once you get to the Lap 2 portal, after dodging one more surprise attack by the Ghost King, it's just a pure mad dash to the finish, and let me tell you. It feels like pure catharsis once you finally beat the level. And with that, you can tackle the last 3 levels with ease. I mean, you can already do that at the Crumbling Tower of Pizza, but the other 2 are significantly easier because you proved you mastered the game. That's all there really is to say on the matter. I fucking love this level. It's my favorite level in Pizza Tower. Alright, list is over, the comments are open if you want to talk about the placement of the stuff. Maybe yell at me about why your favorite level should be on top, because I will read it and probably go, okay. But honestly, going off topic for a minute, I think it's just finally nice to get something relatively big out after 3 years of just picking up projects only to drop them. My mental health just kind of got suplexed on the ground for the last 3 years, and I think I'm finally getting out of that. I wouldn't say it was time spent doing literally nothing, as I was learning a lot about animation and writing at the very least. And hey, now I'm done with that, I finally got the motivation to finally get back into animing again, especially after that one shot I did at the Pizza Scare Gate. It was simple, but God, I loved animating it. As well as these bits too. What I'm trying to say is, I hope you enjoyed this too, and I hope that if you're new here, you join me for whatever I'm gonna do next, because I'm gonna top myself with this next one. Whatever it'll be.